The allure of antique finds is rooted in the captivating blend of history, mystery, and nostalgia that these objects offer. Antiques, particularly those discovered serendipitously at flea markets, carry with them stories of the past and evoke a sense of connection to bygone eras. This fascination is a significant element of our broader narrative about the haunted doll because it underscores why people, like the woman in our tale, are drawn to such items despite potential risks. The antique doll in question is not just an object, ma'at. It symbolizes the unpredictability and allure of the unknown. Antiques hold intrinsic value for collectors and enthusiasts who appreciate their craftsmanship, historical relevance, and sometimes their perceived magical qualities. For instance, the story of Annabelle the doll, housed in the Warren's Occult Museum, and Robert the doll in Key West, Florida, are famous examples that illustrate the mysterious allure of antiques. Both dolls are said to be haunted and have attracted worldwide attention. These examples reinforce the theme of our story by showing how such items can captivate the imagination and sometimes even spark fear. Supporters of antiquing argue that these objects carry positive energy and stories worth preserving. However, there are differing opinions. Some believe that antiques, especially those with unknown origins, could harbor negative energies or spirits, which can be unsettling or even dangerous. This notion adds an eerie layer to our story, making the movement of the doll not just a quirky feature, but a terrifying focal point. A significant challenge when dealing with antiques is the potential for them to be conduits for supernatural occurrences, as perceived by some cultural beliefs. Skeptics, however, view this as pure superstition, pointing out that any odd occurrences are more likely coincidental or misinterpretations rather than paranormal. This controversy enriches our tale, inviting the audience to question what they believe about the unknown. The draw towards antique finds seamlessly influences and connects to the main storyline by providing a plausible explanation for why the woman would bring the doll into her home, setting the stage for the ensuing mystery. It evokes curiosity and suspense, two crucial elements for storytelling, as the audience wonders whether the doll's movements are simply a product of the woman's imagination or something far more sinister. This intersection of historical fascination and supernatural intrigue compels viewers to consider their own beliefs about the past and the unexplained, thus deepening the impact of the haunting narrative. In the tale of the haunted doll that moved on its own, the flea market purchase serves as the inciting incident, introducing the protagonist to the mysterious and eerie doll. A flea market is a bustling marketplace where vendors sell an eclectic mix of secondhand and antique items. These markets are often filled with nostalgia, rare finds, and the possibility of discovering something unique or peculiar. The purchase of the antique doll at such a venue symbolizes the unexpected nature of finding something of interest amidst ordinary surroundings. This initial transaction is crucial as it sets the stage for the unfolding supernatural events. The significance of this point lies in its ability to anchor the story's eerie theme with a commonplace activity. Shopping at a flea market. This ordinary setting lends plausibility to the tale, making the later supernatural developments more impactful when contrasted with the mundane beginnings. It evokes a relatable sense of curiosity mixed with caution, as many people have experienced the allure and unpredictability of flea markets. Real-world examples of similar situations include famous haunted objects like Annabelle, the notorious Raggedy Ann doll, and Robert the doll, both of which have origins in seemingly innocuous settings before their alleged paranormal activities were discovered. These examples highlight how everyday objects can be perceived as conduits for supernatural phenomena, lending credence to the story's premise. Supporters of the notion of haunted objects argue that such items, by virtue of their age and history, can accumulate energies or spirits over time. This point of view is often reflected in cultural narratives and literature, where objects with past ownership are seen as carriers of memories or spiritual imprints. However, skepticism abounds regarding such tales. Critics argue that the human penchant for pattern recognition and storytelling leads to embellishments and misinterpretations of mundane occurrences. They may view the moving doll as a result of external factors like vibrations or airflow, rather than supernatural forces. This inciting event influences other story aspects by setting in motion the protagonist's journey from skepticism to belief in the supernatural, often a critical theme in horror narratives. It also emphasizes the motif of the unknown lurking within the familiar, a foundational element in tales of haunted objects. The initial purchase is a catalyst, driving the protagonist toward deeper engagement with the forces that toy with human understanding, compelling the audience to question the boundaries between the ordinary and the extraordinary. The first night noticing the movement introduces the eerie phenomenon of a doll seemingly moving on its own, igniting the core mystery of the haunted tale. In this context, the concept revolves around the initial awareness and skepticism a person might experience when confronted with an inexplicable event. This moment is crucial because it sets the stage for the unfolding narrative, where skepticism turns into a quest for truth, entwining fear and curiosity. The significance lies in this initial doubt, as it introduces the psychological elements of disbelief and rationalization. The woman's reaction is pivotal. It mirrors how people often grapple with the supernatural, questioning their perceptions before confronting the unknown. Real-world examples echo this experience. Consider the infamous story of Robert the Doll, a supposedly haunted doll in Florida that was reported to change expressions and move. Owners initially dismissed these occurrences, attributing them to imagination or mundane explanations. Similarly, the Annabelle doll, popularized by movies, was said to move on its own, a phenomenon initially shrugged off as pranks. These examples illustrate the common human tendency to rationalize uncanny events. Support for this idea is found in psychological studies of cognitive dissonance, where individuals initially reject information that contradicts their beliefs, only to seek evidence when anomalies persist. However, skepticism abounds. Critics argue these tales are mere fabrications or the result of psychological suggestion and pareidolia, seeing patterns where none exist. Others believe these stories thrive on confirmation bias, highlighting only instances that support the haunted narrative while ignoring natural explanations. Such controversies challenge the credibility of supernatural claims, urging a balanced approach to investigation. This point connects deeply to the broader theme of the haunted doll, as it initiates the protagonist's journey from skepticism to belief. The initial movement is the catalyst that propels the story forward, influencing subsequent actions like setting up a camera to seek the truth. It also underscores the universal struggle between belief and doubt, a recurring theme in paranormal tales. As the narrative progresses, this first night of noticing movement builds tension and anticipation, drawing the audience into the mystery and leaving them pondering the thin line between reality and imagination. Overall, the first night is not just an episode, it's a pivotal moment that shapes the entire haunting experience, inviting exploration into the mysteries that lurk beyond the ordinary. In the haunting tale of the antique doll, the moment the camera is set up marks a pivotal turn in the narrative. The concept of the camera setup, evidence collection begins, refers to the protagonist's decision to use technology as a means of verifying her unsettling suspicions about the doll that seems to move on its own. This step is crucial as it transitions the story from subjective experiences and personal doubts to an objective quest for truth. By setting up the camera, the protagonist seeks tangible evidence that can validate her experiences, turning the narrative into a suspenseful investigation. The significance of setting up the camera lies primarily in its role as a truth seeker. It serves as an unbiased witness that captures events without human error or emotional influence. This is a critical juncture in the story, as it heightens the suspense and lays the groundwork for revelations that may either confirm the haunting or debunk it as a figment of the imagination. In horror narratives, evidence collection through technology serves to bridge the gap between skepticism and belief, drawing audiences deeper into the mystery. In the real world, cameras have been used in various paranormal investigations. Consider the case of the famous Amityville horror house, where investigators use cameras and other devices to capture evidence of supernatural activity. Similarly, in the Enfield poltergeist case, cameras were employed by investigators to document inexplicable occurrences, which fueled public intrigue and debate. While many support the use of cameras as credible tools for ghost hunting, Arguing they provide empirical evidence of the paranormal, others criticize them, viewing such evidence as easily manipulated. Skeptics argue that technology can be flawed, subject to interference, or simply misinterpreted by viewers eager for a fright. Furthermore, some contend that focusing too much on technology can detract from the psychological and emotional dimensions of such experiences. Nevertheless, the act of capturing evidence through a camera influences the main storyline by deepening the protagonist's involvement and emotional investment. It paves the way for subsequent reactions, whether it be seeking expert help, confronting the supernatural entity, or making peace with the unknown. This turn of events also connects to broader themes of reality versus illusion, the quest for understanding, and the perennial human fascination with the supernatural. Ultimately, the camera setup is not just about collecting evidence. It transforms the haunting into a shared experience, inviting both the protagonist and the audience to confront the truth, whatever it may be.